Hey guys! Welcome back to Reroll the Tale, where I talk about my D&D character Ridley's adventures in Wildmount. Why am I doing so many hand motions? I don't know! I promise this session is a lot more lighthearted than the last one. Here we go. After leaving Vess's place, the party decides to get an inn. Ridley stays up a little bit later and decides to read the book that she didn't have time to look at in Vess's laboratory. She discovers it's Vess's personal journal. Upon reading it, it's a lot more personal than Ridley might have initially thought. She reads about Vess's time exploring in the frozen north. She met a man who was a powerful sorcerer. She thought, well, if this guy's so powerful, maybe we could make something powerful together. Maybe a child so powerful that they could be the next Nonagon. So, you know, they snuggle for some warmth. And Vess discovers she is pregnant. She later discovered that the man was nothing more than a charlatan, just a human with no magic abilities at all. She also finds out he has a family back home in Nicodranas. Vess is fuming and discusses how she sends a search party to find him and kidnap his child. That's where the journal ends. Ridley tries to decipher anything to figure out the man's name, but it's all scratched out. The party wakes up, and we all head out for Zadash. Yeah! They're currently having their harvest festival, and as we're adventuring around, Belinus notices a little tickle in his pocket. He looks down to see a little goblin girl trying to pickpocket him. Caleb comes up and tries to apologize for Nott's greediness. And asks if we are going to partake in the tournament. We have no idea what the tournament is, but at this point, we want to join. To go sign up, they asked for our name. After pondering for a long time, we decide to go with the Eyes of 5, because there's 5 members in our party, and Belinus has had 5 eyeballs at this point, because he's lost and regained so many, just, poor guy. We go through 3 rounds of combat. The first one, Darcy is knocked unconscious, but we win. In the second round, we face off against 2 owlbears. And finally, for the third round, we're facing a T-Rex. It was scary. We all almost died, but then Ridley got a pretty badass natural 20 guiding bolt and a nice little how do you want to do this. After the tournament ends and we go to a little after party, we overhear conversation that the king has officially declared war on the dynasty. We decide we should probably leave. We immediately head out for the Temple of the Maiden, Olivia's deity that she worships. We arrive at the temple and see dozens of drow women all dancing with their swords like Olivia does, and she joins in. Ridley is still really upset after the events of our last session, and she's kind of just cloaked, put up, antisocial, hiding in a corner. While Ridley's brooding, Olivia decides to walk over to her and talk to her about what's going on and why she was so upset, and that they make amends. Ridley just leaves. Ridley's just done with human interaction right now. Eventually they gather the party back up, head to some quarters prepared for them, and they get a night's rest. Ridley finally has a dream. It's a glowing red sky, and Ridley's arm is outstretched with her sword in her hand. At the end of her blade, she sees Olivia just grasping onto life. She looks around and sees Belinus with his arms torn off, Darcy cleaved entirely in half, and Holly just missing her head. With her last breath, Olivia grabs Ridley's face and just says, "Why?" as she goes limp. Ridley starts to hear all around her, "Welcome, welcome, welcome, welcome." Ridley drops her sword and just collapses to her knees. Then she starts to hear a new voice in her head. "Don't be so sad. Maybe you just need a little more chaos." The scene around her becomes so much brighter. She's suddenly sitting in a field of grass, and out in front of her is a man with orange, liony hair in a green cloak. He reaches out his hand to her and says, "Chaos over insanity." Ridley wakes up and grabs her green cloak and just hugs it a little bit tighter. She then also reaches for the book that she stole from Vess's laboratory, the copy of the book that she had read before. It's suddenly a pile of ash. The next day they wake up and go to a nice hot spring at the temple. Ridley stays fully clothed in her light undergarments, while everyone else is nude in the hot tub. Darcy notices on Ridley's shoulder. Ridley doesn't know this. I'm just saying this for your benefit. Ridley's unaware of this right now, though. Darcy notices on Ridley's shoulder a glowing red tattoo in the shape of a dick. Thanks, Artie! After their visit to the hot spring, they all get redressed and start heading out for Nicodranus. Apparently, somehow, Belinus was contacted by someone he knows there about a job, so we start heading that way. He says that he'll pay us all 150 gold to deliver this dodecahedron to the king. We accept, and that's where we're going to end this episode! Wahoo! Got any theories of what's going on? Be sure to leave them in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want to keep hearing more about Ridley's stories, and I'll see you next time we reroll the tale.